Let's restart, really.
No, we haven't started. We just started. We just jumped in here. Hello,
We can
everybody.
we can restart if you want. We'll be like travel back
I'm
in
not
time.
sure what anything different you would get out of it. It wouldn't be much different of a start if we did restart it. So, for those of you who don't know, this is RavenWolf. We actually just met this morning. Um, I found out a little bit about her this morning, did not know anything beforehand. And this story has gotten so interested. I'm so intrigued to see what all you're up to. You're doing some really cool stuff. Um, believe it or not, I just found out just moments ago that the would you said you were a hunter. I liked that definition to explain what you do. She's a hunter, and she is actually a paid hunter to hunt out online predators. And this is like an epic story. I'm super excited. So I'm just going to hand it to you, and I'm going to let you go from the jump and kind of explain what you do, and we'll get deeper into how you do it and what all goes into it, and talk about some of your stories that you're allowed to talk about now. Um, I'll give it to you.
So hi. Okay, I'm a hunter. I mean that's an understatement. I work for a chat organization called Chat Avenue. I've been there for about 10 years. I started as a kind of generic chat host. And when they changed the laws and regulations for chat rooms, they needed decoys. So I got retrained as a chat decoy. What my job is I sit in chat rooms. Sometimes it's general chat, sometimes it's teen chat, sometimes it's kids chat, music chat. And I just wait for people to message me who they think is a 13 or 14-year-old girl. So I never start the conversation, I just chill. Over the 10 years that I've been doing this, I've had over, I think it's now almost 22 catches. A couple of those have now seen convictions. But these are people that come into chat rooms and they solicit minors. And my job is I just basically just let them talk to me. I age drop more than 3 times. Then they start the conversation with saying things to what they think is a kid, which they believe is kind of a lot of times when I do this, when I speak with adults, you see a different side to most normal people. People who come into chat rooms, they have normal everyday lives. The first predator I caught was, I think he worked for Bank of America or something. He was a normal everyday teller, fresh out of college, maybe 20, 21 years old. And he spoke for about a year with who he thought was a 13-year-old girl. And he eventually was arrested and convicted. He served 2 years suspended sentence because he was still a kid, and part of the chat log wasn't as severe. He didn't send any images, CP images. I am from Chicago, Illinois, originally from the UK, so I have dual citizenship, which is also good. But I do specialize in, part of what I do can be very harrowing, especially when you start talking to these adults. Like I said, they a lot of times when you work with predators, it's not like you see on YouTube. That it's a different side. That people have normal everyday jobs. They come into chat, they make some stupid mistakes, and I try to give people breaks. I try to age drop, and then I wait. And if the predator backs off and just like disappears or ignores me, great. If not, I age drop again and again. After the third time, that's when the guy's going to jail. And we were saying before we went on air, it's like felony, felony, felony. You're kind of like checking all these boxes, which is also part of the job. Unlike for normal catches, right? We have chat logs. We go to, we move to maybe meet me. We do different things. For chat decoys, we have a whole checklist. So it's kind of like, what's the intent there? Did you age drop? Did they send CP images? That's a big one, especially on Chat Avenue. That's a major one. When you see things like in kids chat of mega links or other networks, that's when we get involved. Like, even if they don't message the decoy, when we see people posting links, we step in and be like, dude, what
Right.
what are you doing posting that? So yeah, it's fun work. I was one of the very first at Chat Avenue hired as a decoy. My voice range, when predators try to get me on the phone, my voice can change. So I can really sound very, very, very young. And this is what really throws predators when on the phone, because they actually think that I'm a real kid. So when I'm on the phone, my voice goes much higher than this. And so this is, again, people think that what I do is entrapment. So I get it, but it really isn't. If the predator calls me, that's intent. I never get, I never actually said you have to call me. I do my best to say don't call, but it's kind of like that whole pushy thing, right? So if I'm just trying to keep up with questions in case I miss anything.
I'm watching it too, so if we get
I'm
questions, I'll
multitasking.
highlight
So
them.
yeah, a bit more about the job. We have every decoy that works in chat, we have 2 or sometimes 3 computers and 2 phones. So the reason for that is we have a phone that we can easily give over to law enforcement. I'm in Chicago. We have phones that we give to law enforcement when they ask for it. We have 2 computers. So I have one, which is this one, which is my decoy computer. So on there, I have every single file of every predator I've ever spoken to, including their images, which is just so gross. And then basically their conviction rap sheet if they do get convicted. That way, if they ever come back to chat, we know who they are. And then I have another computer which is tied to law enforcement when I submit all my logs. So let's say I'm in a chat one day and I have a guy that's insistent on meeting a 13-year-old girl. I take the log as far as humanly possible. We arrange the meet. I send the log over, and then law enforcement actually does the meetup, and I get called to go to court, and I have to testify that that predator did message me. It's always kind of funny when I meet the predator in court, and they're like, "Aren't you a girl?" I'm like, you were messaging me, so yeah.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions on that. So do y'all just work directly in Chicago? Is it just people?
I'm online. I could, in theory, anyone is open game for chat decoys. So this is kind of like the morning thing, because we can't when you guys come into a chat room, we can't just say, hey, we're a chat decoy. You never know which one is the decoy and who isn't the decoy. So I've caught people in LA. Actually, no, it wasn't in LA. Yes, it was in LA.
Sorry. Okay, so when you speak about law enforcement, does it go to, do y'all have like an ICAC division that the company works with?
Yeah, and then they send it to the local authorities, then they verify the whole chat log. And then we have to obey individual state ordinance. Did the predator have intent? Were they going to meet this kid? When they start sending images, then that's far more serious, because then I have to be careful with what images I can keep on my computers. Usually they just take all the images. 20 catches, yeah, but when you look at it from the catches themselves are not instant. So sometimes I could be talking to the same predator for 2 years before we catch them. That's because a lot of adults that come into chat, they tend to want to soften up the victim. So I think the longest I ever talked to someone before a catch was 3 years, because they were really tripping at first. So
you're having to build relationships.
Yeah, they want that building in order to meet. So they're hoping that the kid is going to be of legal age when they meet them. But it doesn't kind of work like that, because if they message a kid who's 13, and then that's the age that law enforcement looks at. If you're messaging a kid and you start it when the kid was 13, even if they're 15 or 16 now, that's still a felony. That's still what they're looking for, is that build up, that final kind of, oh my gosh, you just went across state lines to meet a kid, but you started messaging that kid 2 or 3 years ago. So
Right.
yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. One catch is still saving a child. Yeah, 100%. A lot of people look at hunters and they're like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have like 5 billion catches. No, we don't.
No,
It, it's not a question of how many catches we have. It's a question of who we catch. So like if you catch a youth minister, if you're catching someone and you're saving kids, and that's someone that you caught is known for sex trafficking, that's a big one. Has it happened? Yeah, not to me, but I've known people who have caught who have caught chat predators who were sex traffickers, and that moment when they get busted is kind of like,
no, Tech out of Chicago. She's
out of
based out of
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, I'm in Chicago.
From the UK originally.
I was born in the UK. I've lived here in the States since 2001. It's okay. He sent it in IG. Okay. So I'm based out of I'm based in Chicago, 100%.
We have a team that we do work with out of the UK that we got, actually, UK team had talked to the guy. They decoyed the whole thing. They got a hold of Bill, said, find us somebody down in Florida. Bill reached out to me. I hollered at Protect the Innocent, PTI. She's amazing. She went to the address. It wasn't the right address. She turned it over to the police. And within hours, the police had him in jail and on a $30,000 bond. So it was a real pleasure. And we're working on a couple of more things with the UK team. Shout out to them. I believe it's Protect Our Children's Innocence, or I believe is what the name of it. Their group is. They're a huge group. They've got people everywhere. Super cool organization. I love it.
I think the busiest one,
super fun.
Or like the major one, is when adults try to cite entrapment. It's not, it's intent. You have to have the intention of talking to a kid after a kid says they're 12 or 13. That's not entrapment. That's not what we do. The UK doesn't exist. Watch it, Kurt.
But like we were talking about this morning, so YouTube has taken down a bunch of the stuff that you have posted. Do you want to talk about a couple of your cases? Because I told it, Nanya. It tells me when it's you.
When you guys hear the type of adults, it's heartbreaking. Yes, it's true. I did have a youth minister. I've had Disney employees.
I had a youth minister too.
I had a Disney employee who they started at Disney as the college program. Then they completed that, got hired by Disney as a cook. Then this guy who had everything going for him, like literally everything going for him, comes into kids chat where it says kids, and he's 30 years old, and he's willingly coming into a room that says kids chat. And he starts talking to me as the decoy. I identified as 12 years old, and he's like telling me all these stories about Disney. And I gave him every break. I'm age dropped. I said, you're comfortable with this. He disappeared for about 2 months, came back and was like looking specifically for me. The chat kept on going. Then he started to send the proverbial dick pics. I mean, YouTube can't censor that, but so then he disappeared again because he was really panicking. He came back about 6 months later, and he's like, oh, you're still here. Oh, you must have missed me. From that point on, this Disney employee who had everything going for him decided he wanted to meet a 12-year-old girl on Main Street in Orlando, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. So went on the phone, did the whole voice thing. We arranged to meet. He turned up. Law enforcement grabbed him. Actually, Disney security grabbed him. When I had to go to Orlando to the trial, and he's like, "You're a guy." I'm like, "No, I'm actually transient, but okay." Then he's like, "But you can't be the decoy. She was so cute." I'm like, "I was the decoy. You spoke with me for over a year." And then he tried to plead out. He couldn't plead out because he sent CP, which is okay. So for people watching this, I want to make it very clear, especially when it comes to chat perspective. If you send a dick pic to a teenager, anyone under 18, that's CP. That's a felony. So if you try to plead out, but you send pictures like this, yeah, that's not gonna, especially in Florida, they don't play those games. And so, yeah, he's currently serving, I think he got something like 8 years. And that's just with CP.
Wow.
Because he kept on sending the decoy, which is me, pick after pick after pick. I didn't ask for
They're
anything.
persistent too,
This is
man.
the 12-year-old girl that he thought was after seeing a 30-year-old, and I'm like, yeah. His parents disowned him, and he's still in jail. No remorse, none.
And it's crazy when they show absolutely no remorse, or they just think, like Tommy's catch the other day, he's just like, okay, I'm sorry, I screwed up, just go away, we'll just drop it here. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. You don't get to come after our kids and then just drop it. That's not part of it.
I mean, I try to give people breaks, but when he kept the conversation going, I'm like, I ain't gonna give you a break. I had a youth minister who was like one of these small town youth ministers that came into general chat on Chat Avenue. I was playing the role of a 14-year-old boy, which is kind of weird. So open disclosure. I've had a lot of people ask me, especially from this morning, am I a guy or a girl? I'm actually trans into a girl. So I'm male to female medically. So all of that. So now that that's out in the open, I was a decoy pretending to be a 14-year-old boy. And this guy started messaging me, really nice at first. He's like, I'm here to save you and you shouldn't be in a chat room. And so it started pretty cool. And then he got like explicit within maybe 2 months of talking. It turned out he was a youth minister. He was 42 years old. And he's now, he's my second conviction. So he's now serving 5 years for attempted solicitation of a minor.
Wow.
He pled out. I mean, he had the right lawyer, but usually it's much longer. I mean, felonies like that are much longer.
My youth minister, the Oklahoma City police didn't take the case, and so it was a sad deal. But his wife now knows, the church knows, a lot of churches know because I've plastered it all over the place. I caught wind that he was going to another church after he had been fired from his church. And so I just kindly sent the videos of his confession over to the new church that he had gone to try to, yeah.
So I've had people ask me about why don't I have catches on my YouTube? I used to, until YouTube decided that YouTube has cracked down on people that protect kids, but it's okay if YouTube has explicit material. But when it comes to us in the community, so I've had something like over 100 videos taken down from my YouTube.
Wow.
And that's just for them complaining because I was posting the actual confrontation where the person was going to meet a kid, and YouTube's like, nope, can't do that.
Do you still have all of the footage from the videos they've taken down?
Oh yeah.
Have you looked at putting it on Rumble?
Good idea. Yeah, I do. I am going to set up a Rumble. I just have been with work. I've been a little busy. It seems to be the summer when we had the most action with Preds. I'm not sure why that is.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it gets crazy.
CP. Wait. CP still a felony, but not considering CP.
They're talking about the sending a child. It's distribution of graphic material to minors. Technically, what it is, and in a lot of places, I know that it's one charge for that, and then it's even worse for a CP charge. So that they're just clarifying. I mean, all of y'all know exactly what she's talking about. So I mean, it is what it is.
And then, of course, we have adults who decide to send links to kids so that they can view the material, which.
Yeah, and that's crazy to me because I've had a couple that I've been talking to that have offered links to stuff, and I'm like, don't send me a link. If I open it, my parents will see, and things like that. I mean, I don't want to see any of it.
It is gross. I'll tell you, when you start seeing these links being posted, it's like, what the hell are people doing with their lives?
Yeah, I can't even imagine what you see in the chats like that. I mean, spending
Um,
hours in a chat room like that, it's got to be that's got to be disturbing.
yeah, we talked about this morning, and it's like I try to. It's a bit like being in acting school. So you create the persona, the decoy, and you're trained to, or how they used to do the training. Now it's different. But when I did it, it was kind of like you take on this persona of like a really sweet, innocent kid that's just in the chat room. And that's the persona. But yeah, when you start seeing what these adults type, it's disgusting. It
It
just,
is.
it makes you wonder like where these people get the things from.
Wait,
And
did their parents drop them on their head or what? Yeah, what made them go to this
yeah,
length? Yeah, I've seen some super disturbing things from people who honestly think they are talking to a child. And when I'm decoying, you have to take on the persona of a young kid, and you have to really figure out how to like play stupid when it comes to them saying things, because really, in all honesty, the adult in you wants to go, you sick motherfucker. But you have to make yourself be in that place where you're like, but
I
you,
just blank out. Like this morning,
yeah.
I was on. We were on that chat this morning. This is when Kurt was being dumb, but I was already having like a 53-year-old message my decoy character. So I had this computer open. I was focusing in on this one, and I just completely blanked out. I just let him carry on typing, and the kid in me was just like, like just following the conversation. I'm logging everything. The guy was messaging my decoy, well, me as the decoy this morning for 6 hours.
Wow.
And it was just like, dude, if I'm not responding, take the hint. I'm trying to give you a break. I told you I was a kid. What are you doing?
And I mean, I've had as a decoy, I've had to be mean to them because they send really shitty messages. Like even like during when they know that this kid is in school, and they're like, "Answer me now," and it's like,
Answer me
I'm
this.
in I'm in class. I can't be answering you. Leave me alone.
And it's all about mentally breaking down the kid. I mean, let's just
It
be
is.
honest. This is what adults do. Or not all adults. Okay. What
Right.
predators do, and why it's like a lot of people look at chat decoys and it's kind of like, where's the crime if it's just a chat? The thing is, that is the crime. It's not that,
Right.
it's not the actual predator's going to turn up, right? That's different. The actual crime is a manipulation. So we,
The
as the
intent. Yeah.
decoy, we play the role of this victim who is being manipulated. So, like you said, in school and expected to answer and do what this adult wants. And that's the
Yeah.
crime. That's that manipulation that is, it's like, it is grooming. That's the other charge because they're grooming that kid for that eventual meet, for that eventual when the kid is at their weakest and is going to meet them. And I think a lot of people, when they see what we do as chat decoys, it's like, well, they didn't commit a crime because all chat is BS anyway. It's not BS when they have
It's
intent,
not.
when they are messaging me for months on end,
Right,
trying
and
to wear down
you've
that
also
kid.
got to look at it as if that was a real kid. That kid receiving that attention
Mhm.
draws that kid in. The grooming is real, and it happens quick, especially when it's with a real kid. We're actually working on a deal going on out in California right now
Somebody just said,
where
do you think that many Preds are more enticed by the accent? Um, I mean, yeah. That I have had adults who, I try not to entice anyone, but I do play the role of a kid. So we find that adults are attracted to different voices. And even before I got hired, they were looking for British decoys or somebody or a decoy with an accent because they wanted to see whether this enticement um, was kind of a thing. I mean, it was always a theory proposed that like the exotic kid type thing, right? So a kid from another country. So I wouldn't say enticement. I would say that people are drawn to that kid because that kid is from a different place, and that kid's not going to question what that adult want. You know, that kid, the adult thinks that the kid is not going to question. But yeah, a lot of the predators I've spoken to say in court that they loved my voice. I'm like, yeah, but you're still a predator. You still want to rape a kid. Nice comment, but it's like you still
Right.
want to rape
Thanks
a
for the
kid.
compliment, but no thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Keep your questions coming. I don't hold back anything.
Yeah, I
Even
was
decent.
super enticed this morning whenever you said when you were telling us briefly about what you were doing, and I'm like, this is super cool. It kind of goes back to my interest in how Rockstar works. Rockstar is strictly like Facebook and Instagram, and he has gone as far as like setting up a whole entire imaginary family. He's made all
Here's
these
what I've done.
accounts. He keeps everything straight. Like it's super impressive to see. Okay, so when let's say that a pred reaches out to you and they start showing interest in you in this chat room, do y'all move to a private chat and then you drop a phone number, or how do you?
We keep them in private chat. And then I'll answer Lord's question. Okay, so we keep the predator in the private, kind of like personal DM type chat where we can log it. If a predator asks me to go to Skype or somewhere, then already on this computer I have a tricked out Skype. So I get the log at the same time that my supervisors get the log and law enforcement get the log. If the predator tries to get me onto WhatsApp, same thing. So we know where predators want to take kids, and so if we can log it, we log it. So yeah,
Yeah.
we try to keep them though in the main chat just for the legal sense. Lord Farquaad says, so can you tell us who you actually decoy for, like a police department or an organization? I work for Chat Avenue, which is one of the oldest chat rooms that has existed. It was founded just when Yahoo decided to close for the obvious reasons that Yahoo was supporting CP. I mean, that's open. Yahoo, I did a video on this on my channel today because people keep on asking me about the history of chat. So Yahoo, okay, so MSN closed first. All of the adults that were on MSN heard that Yahoo had no regulation. On Yahoo Chat, there was, and I'm going to be honest, widespread trading of CP. And part of the reason why Yahoo had no choice but to close was because of the success of To Catch a Predator and other programs that had come out at that time. Having said that, is it still a thing? Yeah, but who do I work for? Okay, so Chat Avenue was founded as a secure chat network. Originally, it was founded by a guy called Cayce Mars way back in the day. Nice guy. He got married to this crazy Italian woman. There's a long story there. I joined as a help ops, so it's kind of like a systems administrator. So I just basically would kick idiots, and yeah, it was kind of boring actually. Then they decided that they'd had enough with adults trying to hit on kids, and they came up with this idea of having people who could pose as kids in chat rooms. We would be anonymous, but we would be paid 15 an hour, which we still are. Training was brutal because they fed you scenario after scenario after scenario after scenario, and you get to the point where you just blank out. So I work for Chat Avenue, but I also support all of any law enforcement agencies that we send logs to. How many chat decoys are in the organization? We have 150 that I know of.
Wow, that's impressive.
We started with 2 of us, and now we've grown simply because the network is too big and we can't all be in the one space. So there's decoys that will sit in music chat, there's decoys that will sit in gaming chat, teen chat, adult chat, general chat. I know having a decoy in adult chat is dumb, but trust me, they're
It's
happy
needed.
that people in adult chat do look for kids. That's all I'm gonna say.
And that's, I mean, I have catching teams who have decoys in Roblox, which is a very popular
Oh
game
hell yeah.
for small kids. I
Because
mean,
adults think it's easy. Part of the reason why Roblox is, if you guys have ever been on Roblox and you've always wondered why their chat system is really screwed up, that's because of adults. Roblox had to change they had to change the message structure so that certain words get blanked out and then other words are not blanked out. So you have to literally, how they'll prosecute is if you are intending to send a message, they've already seen what you're typing. But to a lot of people, they just have it all blanked out. Chat Avenue's been doing this for 6 years ish. I mean, it took
well,
me 4 years to get to that point where they trusted me enough to let me to let me off the leash. But yeah, I'd say about 6 years we've been doing it, and we even have disclaimers in every single room saying this room is being monitored. Don't post links and don't not trying to pick up kids. But people don't obey that. They're like, yeah, screw that.
yeah.
But the thing with Chat Avenue is you don't know who the decoys are. So we have people who can be real dicks as decoys that will actively provoke people. And then we have decoys who pretend to be trolls to test how quickly the hosts that are in there will kick you, which I've had hosts that don't kick trolls. They just let it go. And that's what costs them their jobs because it's like, you have somebody spamming? What are you doing? It's like, so yeah, we do have a lot of decoys.
Well, it's cool to know that y'all are out there on the back end, hiding out and protecting as much as you possibly can. And I mean, I have two documented catches. I've been involved in multiple catches that I don't take credit for, just being a small part of the background. But a catch is a catch, and
Yeah.
exposure is exposure. And regardless if it is put out in front of thousands of people or if it's brought directly to the police and handed to the police for them to take action, it's super cool to know that the police work with y'all the way that they do. I'm guessing with it being a corporation like they have standards and they have rules and
Yeah.
do
We
you
have
can
we're
you
very
share
careful.
any of the rules that y'all have to go by? Are you allowed to talk about that?
Um, we can't judge, so we're not there to judge adults. We're there to just collect info. We're not meant to share caseloads, so we're not meant to like give names out. We
Absolutely.
can't publicly troll people, even though we know their addresses. So there is just the generic rules. Mainly, again, the most important one for decoys is we never start the chat. We just wait. We're kind of like this is what makes the perfect hunter is we just wait. That's part of it is, but they're very specific because if we start the chat with the adult, there's no case.
Right.
It's a crazy life says, why is it that 85 to 90% of people in this community look like pedophiles? What are you saying? No, I mean,
You just ignore shit like that. You just
dude, if you know what a pedophile looks like, if you're looking in a mirror, that's all I'm going to say. No, most of us in the community, we do this because we're either victims or we do it because we know that we're very good at what we do. But I think when you come up with blanket statements like that, it's just bogus. Once you get to know us in the community, we're normal people. We just go, our job is to protect kids. And however we do it, we do it well. But yeah, I mean, you can't just make statements like that, because nobody really knows what pedophile looks like. I've learned this over the years, right? You take an innocent Disney worker, you take, I don't know, a youth minister, you take a teacher, you take that there's no textbook. This is what a child predator looks like. That there's no textbook because every cat is different. Every human is different, and so you can't just come up with statements like, "Oh my gosh, you guys look like this. You guys look." It's if you're gonna make stupid statements, at least come up with kind of like at least come up with something better than
be original about it.
It's just dumb. How many convictions do I have? Currently, I have 5.
That's awesome.
But out of those, they have been years in the making. And it's been draining, especially since, you have to log on to the same computer, talk to the same guy, hoping that they're still going to mess up. I've had one of the convictions I had was a married guy. Threw away his life. He had the generic American all around parent. No offense to anyone here, but
no, you're good.
He just, I don't know what was with him. He started chatting to me in 2015, and by 2019 he still wouldn't back off. By that time, the decoy I was pretending to be had just turned 15 itself. He was adamant that he wanted to meet. He arranged for a hotel room, and I can actually remember where this was, which is good. He arranged for us to meet near Lenox Mall in Atlanta, Georgia. So I flew out there. I also contacted the police. Everything was set up. This guy, and he'd always been afraid of sending me his picture. So I was like a little bit unsure whether it was another decoy trolling me or whether this guy was serious. So he turns up, and he's walking around Lenox Mall, and he kind of like agrees to meet the decoy at a restaurant called Houston's, which is just outside the mall. We go there. There's this 58-year-old, and he's just sitting by himself. He's like chilling out. And the police were like, "Are you this, this, this?" And he goes, "You're not the woman I was speaking to." And we were like, "Dude, for the past 5 years, you have been talking to this person." And that was the first time I ever did a catch in person. Because this guy, no remorse. His wife was.
How great was it to get to watch that? That had to be amazing.
Was with him on the couch. So she came into the restaurant. They were hoping this kid, or he was hoping this kid would join them for dinner or something.
Did she know that he was meeting a kid?
Nope. And when the police turned up with me, and we're like trying to talk some sense into him, the wife's reaction went from, "Who is this person?" to, "Why is the police?"
Wow.
And then I had another and he was convicted. He's still in jail. The reason he got a long sentence. He got possession of child pornography, solicitation to meet a minor. He got attempted aggravated assault upon a child because how he got that charge, it was through a webcam meeting where he came on webcam and he was demonstrating he had this could sound crazy, but he had a sex doll, and he had dressed the sex doll up as this kid that he thought he was talking to. And so the police gave him an aggravated assault charge. I think that just because this guy was sick and twisted. I mean, he was. Then he had another charge, which was he tried to bullshit to the police. So we are in this restaurant with the police, with me, with him, and he's still bullshitting, saying it was entrapment. And I'm like, we've been speaking for 5 years. I gave you every chance over 5 years to.
That's a long time.
I kept on age dropping. You told me happy birthday for 5 years. That's in 10. And then you came here to this restaurant with your wife, hoping to meet this kid that she didn't know about because you wanted to have sex with an underage kid when you're married with kids. And he just didn't get it. So he got 20, I think it's 20 years, if not more.
Wow.
But he called me from jail, and because I gave him my number, as I do, I try to be professional. And he thanked me for bullshitting him. I'm like, dude, what the hell?
Wow.
I never understand why decoys talk long with people. What do you mean? Oh, you mean like before the catch?
Yeah.
Because we want to simulate. Okay, so how child predators work, like I said earlier, they will soften up the kid. So sometimes, right, we'll have predators that are really quick that want to meet the kid straight away. Others will soften up the kid. So they'll be like, they'll take their time getting to break the kid down, and then they'll eventually meet. So that's why we talk for a long time. I mean, I know when you watch these other teams on YouTube, everything, it looks like it's instant. It's not. You know, sometimes decoys could be talking for months for the same guy. But eventually, because it's on YouTube, people think it's really instant, and it really isn't.
Yeah, and there's there's teams out there that do the long term decoy work and the long term relationship building with these. Brock is a beast. Uh, why did my mind just go totally blank? Rockstar is really good at the long term. He has some that he's talked to for years and gets that full
Yeah,
every.
it's grooming. 100% it's grooming. So what adults will do is a lot of the grooming is to try and make the kid feel that this is the only love of their life. So grooming, the actual charge of grooming. It can involve basically flirting with a kid over an extended period of time. It could involve gifts. It could involve trying to move a kid to a different chat software. Grooming itself, grooming is just as bad as the act, if not worse. My decoy started at age 11 for that catch. To give you
Wow.
an idea of how this guy wanted it, he targeted, well, he didn't target. Okay, so he messaged what he thought was an 11-year-old girl. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing
No,
questions here.
I was going to touch on Nanya's question in a minute
Yeah,
after
go
you
for it.
got done.
Keep your questions going.
I think whoops, this right here. This is more like what Nanya is asking. Does that long term decoying and that long term relationship building help in the conviction part of it? Is that
Yeah.
and I mean I haven't had a whole lot of luck. I do have a police department that's willing to
Historic
work
and
with me
systemic
here, but
child abuse. That's the
I've been
charge.
too busy on that front to jump on that. But like that's I've always wondered that too. Like is it an effect in the court
Yeah.
process when it's been
Because
that
they
long?
look for intent. They look for that long intent where the decoy is giving the adult lots of chances to back out, and the adult has sustained that grooming. So yeah, that plays into the charge. Have I attended all the trials? Not all of them. If I'm asked to appear, I go, but usually it's handled by lawyers, and it's usually how most of the trials work is we give the police everything. They're literally everything. But yeah, I mean, I don't attend all of them. I've attended maybe a couple. Just depends on whether or not the prosecutor wants me there, or whether or not the defense wants to argue anything stupid.
Um, I was just making sure that she saw. Yeah, and that's another thing that, like I was talking about, Rockstar doesn't use dating sites. He
Yeah, I
uses
don't use dating sites.
uses these apps that our kids are on every day and all the time that we feel comfortable with our kids being on, you know.
Mhm. I
But
mean, yeah, dating sites are different. The laws for those are. I mean, Grinder is like the worst, and people use Grinder because it's an easy catch. But really, I don't do dating sites. I never will. I know a lot of teams like Grinder because it can target because it's technically a fast catch, but is it? There's issues with Grinder. That's all I'm gonna say.
um Lord Farquaad, but that's what we were talking about. The chat is the crime. What
The
they
cat
did
is the
in
crime.
the chat for so long is the crime, regardless of how old the decoy is. by the time of meet, if they do invest that long into it.
Do the police do all of my exposures? Yeah, because I give the logs to the police.
Yeah, they don't have a team that goes and exposes them. They just hand all of the evidence to the police, and the police
That's
take
why
it.
you see in like chat rooms, this room is being logged. Or if you, I think in kids chat, we put in a different advisory saying anyone trying to meet a kid, you will be prosecuted. We say that for a reason, because you will be prosecuted. Do you have to carry on generic conversation in these chat rooms to make yourself blend in and seem not more?
Normal is, I think,
Normal.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we play the role. So, like on a normal day, we just go in, we pretend we're normal chatters, but we don't message people. That's the thing. We just wait for people to message us, and usually it starts like, "How old are you?" Or we have like the idiots that go, "Hey, sweetie," or "Hey, hon." I hate pet names. I just hate them. But it's kind of like we let the adults come to us. We never go to the adults. We just don't. How do you make sure they're not harming other children over the 5 years? That's a good question. I have been known to ask if they're married. I have also been known to ask, like, are they talking to anyone else? Usually predators tell me, oh no, you're the only one. And when it gets, if we get if they go through with the meet, if we decide to send all the logs in, usually we know if there's historic child abuse going on. I also do background checks. So once I get the guy or girl's name, there have been girls. Once I get their name and their details, we can check. But it's never a fail safe. I can't say for 2000%. I can't guarantee that all of the predators who have spoken to me, I can't give you a 100% guarantee that they haven't done anything with other kids, but I will say that they prefer to stick with one victim. There are predators who have multiple victims, but that's really hard to stop. Our job isn't, decoys aren't asked to kind of step in and stop everything. We want to take the role of a victim. So we can't say, it's really hard to say whether or not a predator has got multiple victims. That's up for law enforcement to work out. Has it happened? I mean, yeah. I'll be honest. Like when you see all these videos of people getting busted and everything, some of those people have got multiple cases going on. That's why they run. They're not running because they're scared of the police. They're running because they've got multiple cases. They know they're going to jail for a long time. Ask a lot of questions, but to be honest, you can't ever really make sure. Yeah, we can't. That's the thing. We can never be sure. Like this is why it's such a heinous crime. Is not only are they messaging me as the decoy and they're committing felonies that way, but again, you don't know how many other people. I used to mod in a game that many children played. I would report any grooming type chats to the game managers, and someone tried to, yeah, they do, because they know that these other platforms aren't monitored. How long have I been following this community? A long time. I've been actively, I support the community as a whole. It's a great community. We're a small community, but it's a good community. So how do you handle it when other kids message you? Do you just carry on a conversation to seem normal, or do you complete? I just pretend to be normal. And usually, like, the thing with chat is you never know if it's another decoy messaging you because we don't know each other. That's the nature of the thing. I mean, I have an idea of who the other decoys are, but it's kind of like we just try to blend in. We try to be normal. Because if you're pretending to be a child, other children are bound to message you. Yeah, we just try and be as professional as possible. So we do respond. But having said that, there have been instances where teenagers will go after younger kids, which is that's handled slightly differently. When you have like 16 or 17-year-olds preying on 13-year-olds, it's still predatory. It's still, we still go through the motions, But usually, like, some of the chat is just like weird chat. It's like video game chat or talking about, I don't know, BS. Most of it. How many of these restaurant catches have you partaken in? Just one, and that was the one in Atlanta. That's my favorite one, only because the wife had no idea. I think that look has stayed with me for a long time. If you don't message first, oh wait, if you don't message first, then it's guaranteed that no dude. Yeah, basically, we don't know who the other decoys are. I mean, when I first started, there was only a couple of us, and we all went to different rooms, and we would kind of give ourselves subtle hints as to who was in which rooms. And but yeah, we don't message first, so usually your chances of running into another decoy is slim to none, unless you make that mistake. So be careful. Who is my favorite in our YouTube community?
Ignore the second half of that
Now
question.
look. Now watch it. I'm not going to play favorites. Have you caught a woman? Yes. Yes, I have. Do you come across women predators very often? It's not, I mean, okay, so speaking as, okay, I'm going to choose my words carefully. Okay, here we go. Speaking as a former guy, all right, so it is true that women can be predators. It's 100% true. It's not a big number, and that's not me being sexist or whatever, but it isn't a big number. But women can be predators, yeah. There's women out there who do target kids because they know what to say. I mean, no offense to anyone here. It's easy if you're a woman, right? And this isn't me being sexist. Don't all come at me. Bear with me. You know how to talk to kids much easier than men do. And so yeah, we have women who are predators. It's not common, but yeah, they exist. I mean,
Yeah,
just because being a predator, right, gender isn't a thing. It's what you're after. So yeah, I mean, why not? Have I come across a couple? Yeah, a couple. It's rare. The person, the one that rings a bell for me she was actually a teacher.
wow.
This was a teacher actually in Newfoundland, of all places. And she was in Teen Chat. And what made this one so batshit crazy, sorry for swearing, but
You're
this
fine.
is one batshit thrill ride. So buckle up, buttercups. Here we go. This individual was aged 41. This is back in 2021. And they came on to chat and they pretended to be a 15-year-old girl. And it was kind of suspicious. Like, they came into a kid's chat and they were overplaying the role. The next day, the same person changed persona to be a guy. And they said that they were like a 60-year-old guy and they were looking for a companion. And this is now in general chat. They started messaging, and it wasn't me they messaged, but it was another decoy. And me and this other decoy just couldn't stop laughing because we were like, what the hell is this person doing? For about a year, this person went from being a guy to a girl to a guy to a girl to a guy to a girl. Eventually, the decoy is like, well, do you want to? The guy goes, well, the person's trying to meet the decoy, and the decoy finally agrees. We arranged to meet thinking that this is going to be a guy. It was a mid-40s woman who lived in Newfoundland that turned up. And apparently everybody who was involved in the catch was like, well, where's the guy? I mean, what's going on here? And apparently she had pretended to be a guy and a girl when she was a girl the whole time. And it was just batshit crazy. Have you ever had the feds get involved on the catch? No. Really, like, you would have to be a serial kidnapper or worse to have the feds get involved. And then when the feds get involved, shit breaks loose. Like, I've never had the feds involved. I could just imagine it. Men in Black coming.
Is that what you meant, Tommy Boy? I'm trying to keep up. Y'all know I'm not good at keeping up with listening and reading questions.
My world. Why is it taking you so long to? Like I said, I have being around. It's just my videos keep on being deleted. I've also done work on NPR. I do a lot of voiceover work as well. Why is it taking me so long? I think it's just a comfort thing. Like a lot of times decoys, we try not to like show ourselves too much because we like that not anonymity. I can't speak that word beginning with A. We like to kind of stay under the radar. That way nobody can tip off anybody. But I think as times change and as more decoys are coming out, we still get convictions. We still got people doing. Who is your favorite from our
Will you
spaces?
lie to her and tell her that it's her so that she'll shut
Okay,
the door
Nonya.
up?
Right, Nonya. That's it. We're gonna do this right here, right now. Who's my favorite? I like everyone. Boom.
What did you say, 23? Yeah,
About 23. So my convictions are low, but they're good the convictions I've had are low, but they're good. No catches. Hey.
No, she wants to know what catchers do you watch and who all do
I'm
you?
gonna have to say I do watch everyone that I can. I try to be as supportive. Colorado Pet Patrol, big shout out to Tommy over there because I know he does a lot of good work. I pretty much watch a lot of people. I find it interesting watching how different catchers work, like how they deal with the bullshit that they have to put up with.
And seeing as how, I mean, is there any advice that you can give anybody coming in as becoming a decoy and wanting to start their teams and stuff? I know that I have a team in Texas that I'm working with, getting him rolling, and any sort of advice that you could give?
Be patient. As much as you want to rip a predator's head off and like completely tear them a new one, if you're going to be a decoy, you've got to put up with it. You've got to be the victim. No offense, right? But you've got to, if you're going to be a decoy, you've got to take on the mantle of that victim that is letting this adult do whatever, right? It sucks, but that's kind of the thing. So yeah, just don't be judgmental. Okay, I'm going to catch up with these comments and I'll finish answering now. Have I ever had a pred who admitted on the catch possessing CP and not get arrested? If you admit to having CP, you're going to get arrested. And if you have, like, the police law enforcement does not and will not just turn a blind eye to possession of CP. They can't afford to. Even if nothing's on the phone, even if it's a false alarm, it is so serious now that you're going to get arrested just by saying it. You know, if you say to if you are on a catch and that predator says, I got CP on my phone, they're going to get arrested. It doesn't, it's just me. I mean, well, technically it's it's who I work for, but the catches that I submit is me.
Yeah,
that's who submits the chat.
That's what I thought. That's just your number, yeah. And you got to think, I mean, with that being your number, if there's 150 of y'all, I mean, y'all are putting a dent in it.
We're trying our best. Trying to keep up. Has a pred ever caught on that you're a decoy? Yeah. Oh, 100%. But they still message me. They still say things like, are you sure you're 13? Are you sure you're 14? Can you send me a pic? Where's your parents? And like they'll message me at weird times of the day, and they're trying to test the waters. And so this is why I have multiple phones. It's because they'll test the waters, trying to see whether they can get you to slip up on your story. So the cool thing about being a decoy is once we create the character, we maintain that character. So we try to create the schedule for the kid. We try to like work out when they get home from school, what they're doing every single day. But yeah, I've had people that catch on, but they still talk to me. Even when they get busted, it's like, well, we knew you were a decoy. And it's like, yeah, but you still message me. You still spent all that time and you knew I was a decoy. You know, what the heck? Unless you're a child, then they let you walk. Children have been busted for CP in the UK. Oh, 100% in the UK. Oh, 100%. In the UK, there was a case of, this case is still going. Can I say the names? Yeah, I can. The there were two. Okay, way back, there was a murder done by two kids. A toddler called Jamie Bolger. I think that was it, Jamie Bolger. And the two killers were teenagers, young teenagers at the time. They both got, they kidnapped this kid. They killed the kid for whatever reason. I never found out what the reason was. One of those kids who became a teen, well, one of those kids got released from jail, obtained CP, and he was then re-prosecuted for it. So yeah, kids can get prosecuted for it, even though they tried to claim, oh well, it's kind of like we didn't know what it was. Yeah, you can still be prosecuted for it. Raven, could you help decoys cope with? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of psychological BS that goes into it because we see adults saying shit that they shouldn't be saying. That there is. What I would tell decoys is create the character that you want to be, develop that character, and then think like an acting school, right? So think of your favorite actor. So your actor takes on that role every season of whoever they're trying to be, right? Away from that role, when they're kind of in real life, they're a different person. They don't care about that role. So like William Shatner's a good one for that. But it's kind of like they have that role side, then they have who they are. My advice to new decoys is create that role, and then when you're not working, just forget that role. Just kind of like pretend that's not even you. That's somebody completely different. Otherwise, it will eat you alive. Tommy Boy is a raven. What the hell? I'm not even gonna answer that one. Kurt, what is your problem with me? I mean, seriously, I create the character. Yeah, it is creating a character. That's. It kind of sounds easy. It's easier said than done. But once you create the character, then when you finish work for the day, you can separate out. I have known decoys that burn out because they let that character take over. The key is just separate it. Just try and, like, when you get done for the day, play a game, drink, have something that will take your mind off it because it will eat you alive. There's an okay, so here we go. So there is an estimated 80,000 minors on the sex offender registry just in the US, and I believe the youngest to be on it was 8 years old. That is correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you can get added to the registry for anything. So here we go. Okay, so I love that so much. Okay, so how do you get added to the registry? Here we go. It's the fun part. If you touch, okay. So if the person is underage, if you touch somebody's hair, if you hug them, if you kiss somebody on the cheek, whatever, if you touch or do anything to somebody that's underage, they don't care how old you are, you're going on the registry. You are a sex offender, right? You have touched somebody who is underage. That's the definition of it. So yeah, I mean, kids mess up. I get it. 8-year-olds don't exactly think, if I grab a girl and kiss her, what's going to happen? Right. Again, parents.
I saw that too, Nana. I'm sorry. So Nunya asked, because on Fridays over on Not So Common, they do karaoke, and
yes, I do sing.
We would invite you, please come over and hang out with us. A lot of us that sing aren't great, but we have a blast doing it.
Oh, it's on.
James is not sure. He's the co-host, and
I'd like to hear James sing.
I did a double take because Nana said this, and I saw the same thing.
You know, I mean, I do have room for a swing here, I guess. So yeah, another person asked me, why don't I have videos of catches? Okay, so here we go with why it's harder for what I do to post videos. Okay, so the chat logs that we have contain the person's real name, IP, and location. So I have to be careful with what I can post. Otherwise, there are
Yeah.
idiots out there that will find the person and do something
Okay.
stupid. So
So
I have to check.
when y'all are chatting with these people, you have the access, like you have the company access to where you get exact location. And
Oh yeah.
can you tell on there, like if they're using a VPN
Oh
or
yeah.
yeah?
Because VPNs, I mean, there's ways around a VPN that there are, but usually most of the adults that come into chat rooms are not that tech savvy to have a VPN to begin with. So this is why they are so surprised when they get busted, because it's like, oh yeah, how did you know I was in this? And we're like, because we have your location.
Right.
With VPNs, there are law enforcement will help us get around a VPN. I mean, we have a way to get around it, but it's not exactly legal. I mean,
Yeah, that's
there's ways you can get around a VPN.
and I mean if you, I guess you could go through and just like copy and paste the conversation and like exclude all of like your
Oh, I could,
exact
yeah.
log or whatever, you know.
Hey, June 27th is National Hate Nonya Day. Got it up. Hey, we love Nonya, so be nice. You can come up here if you want, Nonya.
This is an everyday thing, and she bullies the shit out of us. So don't ever feel sorry for her.
Yeah, be nice. We have James in the chat. RavenWolf, gonna be picking your brain in the near future. Uh-oh. I could be bad or good. Don't
Well,
you
I
touch
mean,
my brain. Wolf
is
boy.
it?
New York Creep Spotlight. Have a
Have
blessed.
a good evening, FM.
Bye. Tommy Boy, TB Studios, finna a white knight the hell out of this interview for my. What the hell?
It's Tommy Boy slang, and there's no telling what he means by that. And yeah,
This is YouTube. People are weird on
do
YouTube.
you have
Nothing
any
bothers
other?
me. Yeah, nothing phases me on YouTube anymore. I've been doing this a long time. So
I'm glad you say that because I don't let it phase me either. I ignore the bullshit, and I don't.
But I will say to people who are posting bullshit in the chat, nothing bothers me. I've heard it all before. I'm used to. I have been called every single name you could possibly mention. I've been threatened multiple times. I've had, so nothing you guys are trying to do to get me to yell or say anything stupid. It's not going to work. But carry on entertaining yourselves. Please do. It's kind of funny watching it.
That's not, Lord, you're misunderstanding. She's saying the bad guy has been missing, and she's saying that she thinks you are the bad guy. In which, if you were, bring back bad guy.
I mean, I've had
Wait.
predators call me a villain because I out them. And it's kind of like, if I'm a villain by stopping you from harming a kid, then make me a villain. Because I do it very well.
Paint me a villain all day long if I'm keeping you from fucking with a child. Absolutely.
Nonya says, no chat has been good. Promises is the best I've seen chat. Yeah, because, hey, no poking fun. All right. I mean, I also don't hold back. So when I do catches, I kind of agree with some of the other catches out there. If you lie to me and I'm on a catch, I call the police. I mean, I've already called the police, but I always tell people, if you lie to me, it's not going to go well. If I always try to tell predators, right, if you're honest and just talk it through, it's going to go okay. You're still going to go to jail.
I don't know if all my mods can see this or not, but that's for you, Telly. Yes, we can mute Nunya for 5 minutes.
5 years. Let's get her.
5 minutes.
No, 5 years.
She had to go take a lap, and that was for all of the times that she's timed Telly out. So
we love you, Telly. Yeah, people are trying to wind me up. It's not going to work. Trust me, it's not going to work. Unless you're a
and
predator, in
really,
which case, bring it.
really, I wish that the police departments and DAs could look at it like how they do when it's coming from a corporation and it is a team set up to do something like this. I mean, a lot of these police departments like won't even give us an opportunity.
Nope.
They just,
It's because they don't like the idea.
I better watch out because she'll come back as me too, because she is logged in on my YouTube too.
All right, so about law enforcement, I mean, I guess I should kind of explain my 2 cents on it. Okay, so it all goes back to Catch a Predator, right? So when Chris Hansen was doing his thing, law enforcement was met with a lot of. Okay, so in the original first series, when no arrests were being done, law enforcement were met with this kind of, oh my gosh, so a guy from the media is able to get predators to come to a house and law enforcement doesn't bust. From that show, we had all of the groups kind of starting, people wanted to get into the system. They wanted to get a piece of the action. So now law enforcement is kind of like, they're sick of vigilante groups, and they're sick of groups who are like,
we hate that word.
Yeah, and I've been called a vigilante. Am I? No. A vigilante, what we do as predator hunters or catchers, we're not vigilantes. We're trained. We know what we're doing. We go out willingly. We're not trying to like chat. We're trying to save kids. We're not trying to do it for any other reason or for money. Yes, I get paid money, but I don't do it for money. I've been doing this because I save kids. When you look at all of the different communities on YouTube, we do it because we are disgusted with seeing our kids kind of being turned into victims. And let me just clear something else up. People are like, yeah, but chat is innocent and it's kind of victimless. Those kids who go through these chats, they may not meet the predator, but they're going to have psychological issues, right? They're going to turn to drink. They're going to turn and do to other people what the predator did to them. This is why it's so heinous. I mean, it really is.
Chat Avenue, the company
Chat Avenue
works for that she decoys for, they run the chat, which has a children's chat room.
Just no dope on a Sunday. Yeah, no dope on a Sunday. Wait, no dope every.
Speaking of Dub, I need to come see you, sir. So hurry up and get your ass back to work.
Yeah, get your ass back to work. Okay. Sometimes you just gotta watch them hang. I mean, there is a good feeling when there is this moment where you do feel that some predators just aren't worth it. Like, it's kind of like, just lock them up. Just do it.
Yeah, I've had some disgusting ones.
Everybody's cooking on pole.
Nanya, hush. It was not. You're twerking today, Dub? Because I may come see you after I'm done here, sir.
What have we started in this chat? Oh my God, I missed the interview. Yes, you did. I'm not Ray. I'm Raven. There's a difference, Frank. Well, I see, even if you don't convict anyone, every chat they think is a minor is... Wait, hold on. I'm going to read it properly now. Here we go. Where I see it, even if you don't convict anyone, every chat they think is a minor they aren't talking.
Absolutely, James.
They're stopping them from talking to a real minor. So
Absolutely.
If I can distract a predator from wanting to harm a real kid, I'll do it.
Absolutely.
That it's kind of like, if I can take a bullet for a kid, I'd probably do, I mean, not that literally, but it's the same kind of thing. We stop a real kid from being turned into a victim from, and like I said earlier, right, or just a few minutes ago, how these kids who real kids who are preyed on by adults, they turn to booze, their lives are destroyed. You were twerking at work. How are you still employed? I'm not gonna even
Dub owns a dispensary here, and here's where I go get my weed. It's supporting small business, supporting locals.
Can you give me an admin wrench so I can time out Wolf?
No,
I can't. I don't have permissions to give anyone wrenches.
Wolf, are you sending people on laps?
Coming up, join
y'all
us.
be nice to each other. I'm gonna put you all in the corner.
What else? I will unleash the wolf.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you taking your time and hanging out with me. It was very nice to meet you today, and
yeah, it's been great.
Coming and telling us about it. I mean, this has been cool. I was wanting to hear more about it this morning.
Owning a strip club? Oh my gosh, really?
It wouldn't surprise me if Dub doesn't own a strip club too.
That's the cover story. That's what we want the Predators to think. We own strip clubs.
He's my legal drug dealer.
It's like, bam, check out these drugs.
Yeah. Well, and a funny story, and I'll tell this story over and over again. I don't care. But whenever I cash up in money, sometimes I'll put for like crack and hookers or whatever. And he had turned all of his bank stuff over to his accountant, and his accountant called him and was like, can we talk about why we're buying hookers and crack? And he's like, no, it's just a friend of mine. Yeah. So
first time here at Catch. Welcome to the channel. Hey, 20 is 20. This is true. This is true.
Yeah, welcome. Hello.
Can you get a job? Well, we need professional assassins. No, just kidding.
And for anybody who hasn't ever decoyed before, the conversation can be super simple. And, like we said, we play stupid on our end, and we do pretend like we are a young child. And some of the disturbing things that these dudes say, I mean, there's the one decoy call that I have on my channel is super bad. And I mean, y'all can go watch it and see some of the things that in text that these people say, thinking that they're talking to a child, would really fuck a real child up. That it would damage a real child.
The worst ones, I mean, this is going to sound really... Don't take this from the worst ones are Nigerian predators, because they just come up with the dumbest shit. And it's like, I had a guy who was, this is going to sound stereotypical, but here we go. This guy was from, it wasn't even, where was he from? I know he lived in Ohio, but he had one of the worst spelling issue. He had like an issue typing. And he's like, I want talk girl who big chest and 13. And this is kind of how he's speaking. And it turned out that he did have a couple of issues wrong with him. But it's still, half the shit they tell us when they think it's a kid. Because they know that kid isn't going to say it. Like, this is what angers a lot of us who do this is.
I would... It's funny that you say that, Wolf. I would love to be a bounty hunter. Whenever I decide where I'm going to get and stay, I'm going to travel for a couple of years, but when I decide where I'm finally going to settle down, I'm totally getting on becoming a private investigator. Being nosy and snooping into stuff like that I love that sort of investigative part of it.
Nothing wrong with being a bounty hunter. Nothing wrong with being a hunter. Like, if you're good at it, just do it. I almost went into
that would make a great bounty hunter.
The key to hunting predators is just let them come to you. Just don't force it, don't push it. Just think like a spider and just wait. That used to be my nickname, Spider. Actually, that's where I got RavenWolf Greenfield from. Greenfield was on my mother's side. That was her last name. But RavenWolf is a composite form of a wolf spider and a raven put together. And I came up with the name when we first moved here to the States. And because ravens are really good hunters. And I was thinking, well, what about wolf spiders? Because they are the epic hunters. So when I got into being a decoy, I just kept the name. So this became my YouTube name. And I've had it ever since. The Reverend part now, that is because I used to preach a lot to predators when I was busting them in the early days being a decoy. So I would literally chastise the hell out of some adults in chat just to scare them. And so they kept on calling me preacher, and it kind of stuck for a while. Like, that used to be a really. It didn't even bother me having those nicknames, but then I chose Raven because they're hunters and Wolf because of the wolf spider.
That's cool.
Keep your questions coming. I don't bite. Hours ago, wait, hey, Tommy, be nice. Nonia came from starting as a decoy. Yeah, she's a real decoy. No, just kidding. You wolf spiders howl. No, but the bite bloody hurts. If you get bitten by a wolf spider, it bloody hurts. Trust me, it hurts. Big time. Kind of confused as to why Frank was hidden. Frankly, we don't know.
Charlie, because I let my mods handle things that they seem appropriate, and if Frank was talking shit, then he probably got hidden. So I'm guessing this is probably Frank on a Charlie account now. So whatever, it is what it is. And if she done it, that's how it is. So
we have some confessions going on. Yes.
Yeah. So y'all know I don't play into the bullshit. I'm here to discuss what happens behind the scenes and how it all affects all of us and why we do what we do. And that's what we do here.
I like the reason why I do it is I protect kids. That's my number one thing. Is I think, like, for me, I mean, I'm very open with what I am. You know, I'm a trans woman. I'm fine with that. I was one of the very first trans women who was a decoy. I'm fine with that. You know, people want to make a big deal, make it.
Be comfortable in your own skin. I mean,
but like with me, even though I can't ever have kids, if I can stop kids from being, if I can save one kid at a time by playing the victim over multiple years, by stopping this predator from talking to a real kid, I'm going to do it. If I can defend kids who are in gaming chat, if they're, you know, just minding their own business, you know, if I can save people's lives, then I'm going to do it. You know, just because I personally can't have kids, that doesn't mean anything. It means, you know, I think I'm more focused on helping others rather than myself. Raven, can decoys apply for decoy work? Not anymore. I mean, you could apply to be a host, but I'll have to find out. I'm not sure if they are hiring anymore. I will check for you. Because I have your YouTube details, so I'll track you a email. But I'll find out tonight for you and let you know. I'm not sure if we are hiring more decoys, only because there's so much on YouTube now and there's so much on different chat networks. But I'll find out for you. I didn't have anyone 60 years ago. You people saved me. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to save everyone. And sometimes we can't. Sometimes, you know, like, there's times when we know that predators will get through the system, and it sucks. But the predators that we convict and the predators that we out, those are victories. They may be small. I mean, if you look at my track record, it's small. But
hey, every single one counts, regardless of how small or what the extent of it was. Every single one of them counts. So,
oh yeah.
I mean, and I hear a lot of people talk a lot of shit about people's numbers and who's doing what, and you have one catch, you have 400 catches, you're doing something. You are making a difference. So,
and
I mean, we don't put numbers on a block here.
Yeah, don't let people judge you just because, you know, you only have like 5 or 6 catches. It's who you catch. If you stop a teacher, if you're stopping like a married guy, if you're stopping someone that's going to do something heinous to a kid, that's what counts. Because they aren't going to stop with that kid. This is the thing. The people that we catch aren't going to stop with that kid. They're going to continue to do it to other kids and other kids and other kids and other kids. It's a chain thing. We see it time and time again with predators. It's if they have the intent to do it to me, then they have the intent to continue to do it, right? and to continue and to continue and to continue. So I'm scaring everyone. No.
I don't know what they're talking about now.
I have no idea. Green
Yeah,
screens.
I lost it up there a little ways, and I have no idea what they're.
Yeah, we can get him. I could just see him as a chat host on Chat Avenue. He'd beat some sense into people.
He likes to. I don't know what a good word.
Ruffle feathers.
No, he debates very well. No, I appreciate how he debates, and when he calls people out, I like how he uses his words well. Well, do you have anything else that you want to share or tell us about? No?
It's
Well,
been fun getting to meet everyone.
I appreciate you taking your time out and hanging out with us and telling us about this side of it. And we appreciate you out there protecting the chats, and tell your team we said thanks.
Well, it's been a pleasure getting to meet everyone.
All right. Well, yeah, everybody, y'all have a good evening. Y'all make sure to drop over to Not So Common tomorrow at 10 Central. I'm not sure what our topic is about tomorrow. Yes, Randall, in the description on this video is a link to YouTube. But like we were talking about, maybe because of how the chat logs are, they have all like way too much information on them. So maybe making a copy and paste set where it can be shared in like a video form. And I know Rumble doesn't strike videos, and it would be an easy spot to where you wouldn't put so much work into it just to have it taken down, because it's super discouraging to put hours and hours and hours into editing all these videos and getting it up on YouTube. And as soon as you get it on YouTube, it disappears. It's discouraging. So, I mean, if you take the time to do it, put it somewhere where it can be seen and we can share the links and get it out. But yeah, we're going to jump off of here. Everybody have a good evening. I appreciate everybody swinging through, and we'll see y'all later.
Bye, everyone. Bye.